Hey, what's up guys? It's Sam Taggart with DDD Experts and DDDcon. And I'm gonna go over the 10 tips for anybody getting into door-to-door. And the first one is realize door-to-door is awesome. It is one of the best vehicles you could ever get into and has changed hundreds and thousands of people's lives, and they wouldn't be where they're at today without door-to-door. I mean, this goes back to generations ago, and people such as Sarah Blakely, Paul Digiorgio, and Mark Cuban, and all these guys that have really gone on to do some successful things all started here in door-to-door sales because you learn the grit and the grind and the sales skills it takes to really be successful in life. The second tip is really simple. It's become a hunter versus a scavenger. Now, a lot of society jobs, they're actually very scavenger-esque. What I mean by that is the hunters are out there, going out, creating things, creating business, creating opportunities, and the scavengers are kind of there to pick it up. They're kind of there to put it in places. They're kind of there picking up the scraps. Door-to-door gives you the prime opportunity to become a hunter. The third tip, it's simply accept the challenge of door-to-door. Like, you have to be able to say, this is gonna be hard, this is gonna test me in all elements, physically, mentally, emotionally. You're gonna have to travel maybe, you're gonna have to deal with rejection. There's so many things you deal with in this job, accept it as a challenge. Say, I like doing hard things, I wanna be uncomfortable. The fourth tip is welcome rejection. If you welcome rejection as if it's going to happen. There's a quote by Brene Brown that in order to create, you gotta be vulnerable. In order to go be vulnerable, you gotta be willing to fail. You've gotta be willing to accept this rejection. Number 5, this is a sport, not a job. Now, a lot of people obviously do this to make money, but the reality is you're gonna just make enough to survive in door-to-door, just like any other job, because that's what you're training your brain to do. But if you wanna compete and actually thrive and make more money than you've probably ever made in your life, you gotta treat it like a sport. Go out to compete every day and stop looking at the paychecks, because if you're competing and throwing in numbers, you're gonna have healthy paychecks. Number 6, you have to have an hourly mindset versus just a commission mindset. The common problem that people get into when they get into a commission-based job or door-to-door is they tend to live paycheck to paycheck, which means deal to deal. They buy things like, oh, that's just like one sale, I'll buy that. They will sell a lot and then they won't work for a week and then they'll be broke again. They'll sell a lot, they won't work for a week, they'll be broke again, and they go through this salesmanship roller coaster is what we call it. So the reality is if you can treat this, even though you're paid by the commission, if you can treat it like an hourly job, meaning no matter what, I work these desired hours, no matter what, whether I sold 0 that day or I sold 50 that day, it doesn't matter. I stick to the schedule, even though I'm paid based on the deal. So if you have the mindset of I work the hours no matter what, I promise you'll be a lot more successful than those that go on the salesmanship roller coaster. Number 7, excuses don't make you money. Now, I hear every excuse in the book. It's hot, it's cold, I'm hungry, I need to have a bad area, I don't have a car, I don't have this deal canceled, whatever. I hear every excuse, I've heard it all. It doesn't make you any money. Therefore, if you don't take extreme ownership, you're always gonna be broke in this job. Take ownership of your results, because the reality is, as long as you have a product to be delivered, you could go make money. Now, I've seen people sell in every type of neighborhood, in every type of product, in every type of situation, and those that have the hunter mentality say, screw the excuses, I'm gonna figure it out. But so many people just wanna make some excuse of why they're failing and why they can't make money in this job. But the reality is I could give you 100 examples right now of people making money in your industry, in your market, in this job. So stop making excuses. Number 8, have a 5-year vision, a 5-year plan. And what I mean by this is so many people do this job as a temporary thing. I'm gonna do this job through college and then get a real job. I'm gonna do this for like a couple months until I'm trying to figure out my life. Don't do that. You're gonna piss poor results. You're gonna get a subpar outcome. Plan as if you're gonna do this for at least 5 years. And you're like, geez, Sam, that might be a long time. Like, I don't wanna commit that long. Maybe you don't commit that long. But I promise the decisions you'll be making today will be different if you're knowing you're gonna do this for 5 years versus just temporary. You're gonna treat it like a profession. You're gonna grow as a leader. take it a lot more serious. Find a way to contribute and add value to the company you're in. Treat it as if this is a career, not just a temporary thing. Because I take pride in knocking doors, and I'm proud to say I'm a professional door knocker. Number 9, integrity. So many people think you have to be sleazy to sell a lot of accounts. I've been a top individual and I feel like I've done it very honorably. Now, you don't have to follow, maybe your manager's teaching you or saying something that you're like, wow, I don't really agree with that. First, seek to say like, why the heck do you say that? And second, be like, if you don't align, don't say it. There's a lot of ways to sell a deal. You don't have to do it exactly the way that everybody else does it. You can find ways to actually be a very effective salesperson and do it with integrity. Integrity also means when you say you're gonna do something, do it. That means if I'm like, my goal this year is to do 100, I'm going to do 100, I commit to doing this, do it. If you're like, hey, I commit to this company for 6 months, I sign a contract, I'm going out with you, do it. Don't be the guy that just because of like his weak mindset doesn't live up to his word. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. And lastly, number 10, enjoy the journey. This job doesn't just have instant results. So many people, because of our millennial mindset and our instant phone, you can Google it instead of encyclopedia. So many people, because you have a microwave and fast food and all this stuff, we think we can zap things and just be good. The reality is this is no new, this is a muscle. This is like something like a professional violinist, athlete, anything else. They didn't just overnight be amazing at this. Some people have practiced their craft, and that's why they're so good at this, is because they put in the 10,000 hour rule. They found that they have to go through the grind, and you can't accelerate that. There's no substitute for journey, practice, longevity, training. Focus on your craft and become the professional. That's why we've created Door-to-Door University. We have an entire platform to help people master this specific job in your specific industry, because we found that a lot of people are missing tools. That's why we built the podcast, the events, the content. We found that if people had something to latch onto and enjoy the journey, that they will last a lot longer, because this is one of the most profitable businesses that I've seen in any industry. This is the right vehicle. Follow us on Instagram on D2D Experts. Follow the Sam Taggart on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Go check our podcast out. Sign up for the university, whatever it is. We're here to support you. So make sure to follow us and join the tribe. And I love hearing the success stories. So DM me if you're like, hey Sam, this is a big win, or I have a question on this. Like, feel free to reach out. Like, we're here to help.